Hi. I'm kind of nervous for this live. And part of me is really hoping that nobody shows up. I'm not even gonna look up here and see if there's anyone joining. Um, Part of it is because I feel like I know that what I have to say today is going to be vulnerable for me. There's a voice in the back of my mind. It's probably a troll, right? Sorry for the background noise. One of the cats just knocked something over. There's a lot going on in the world right now. And there's a part of me that feels as if what I need to share today is going to be very vulnerable. But there's a part of me that's like, Emily, you may not even end up sharing it. And then there's the voice in the back of my mind, right? The troll, who's like, that wasn't even very vulnerable. Like, she needs to get over herself, right? But I think what makes this vulnerable for me is the fact that the stories that are kind of top of mind for me in this moment, they connect to so many other stories. Stories that I have to share, stories that I have told myself for most of my life. Stories that I know I'm not the only one to experience and move through. Sister wounds and mother wounds. When I left the corporate world in July 2023, I did so feeling like I knew the direction that I was going in. I was starting my second semester in a master's program, and sorry, there's a cat growling in the background, so I'm like getting distracted, right? Part of me is like, Emily, you should have planned this more. Maybe you should have gone into your office. But I may not end up sharing this, right? So who cares? Who cares if you see everything in the moment, right? I have gotten into two different grad programs. Well, I've gotten into more than two, but I've actually entered into two. The first was a PhD program in Buffalo, New York, when I was 22. I was there for one semester, and then I dropped out. And the second was a master's program at the University of Florida. It was online. I dropped out there after 2 semesters, so I made it a little bit further. If you tuned into my last live, you'll know that I am the only one in my immediate family that doesn't have a graduate degree. I'm the black sheep. When I left my corporate job, when I left that stable position, if you could call it that, I did so thinking that I had some kind of sense of direction, right? I was getting a degree, I knew what I was going to use it for, all that jazz. But then I ended up leaving and I started getting certified in different things, starting courses, not finishing them, all that jazz. There was one that I'm wrapping up right now. We had to do an online assessment last year, and how it was set up was it was a full day of training. So it was, I believe the day that I went, it was like 2 hours in the morning and then a 30-minute break and then another 2 hours, or like 3 hours in the morning, a break, and then 3 hours. And I was in the second half of that practicum. We weren't expected to attend all of the practices if we couldn't, but I did because I wanted to support the other women in the program. There's a part of me that thinks that maybe I shouldn't have, because by the time it got to my turn, I was so exhausted. We were meant to do a practicum of some kind of an embodiment practice, and I had had an idea of what I wanted to do. It was fitness based, but I have some wounding around leading fitness programs. If you have read The Revolution and kept up with my movement over the past year, you will know that I was fired for the first and only time in my life from a yoga studio. No reason given, other than we were not in alignment. So I'll take their word for it, right? But it planted a seed of doubt in me. It made me question whether or not I would be able to do this kind of work. So even though I had this idea of what I wanted to do for my practicum, I was afraid. So I didn't really plan. And I'm sure in some sense I self-sabotaged, right? Zora, sorry. There's a dog in the background making noises that make me question what she's doing. Anyway, it got to my turn and I was exhausted from participating in everybody else's practicums that day. And because the idea that I had had was very active, it involved, like I said, fitness and drumming. So it was very involved. And I hadn't practiced. So it was like I was not confident, right, in my ability to do the damn thing. So what I ended up doing was reflecting. I opened up my channel and I spoke. And then I also read a passage from a book. There's a part of me right now that's like, Emily, you should just end this live and delete it and not share, because what are you doing? But I've been reflecting on things lately. I've been rereading my journals slowly. And I had this idea today, just a little bit ago. I want to read the passage that I read in that practicum. And then I want to read a journal entry that I wrote while I was in Spain last year. So, to start, this is the prologue to a book. Okay, I'm just going to say what it is first. We Are Animals: On the Nature and Politics of Motherhood by Jennifer Case. She is my sister. Prologue. Message for the animal mother. You are teats tingling, hairy line from your pubis to your belly button, stretched skin that has spread and then shrunk to create ripples and dapples. Your bite and aching neck, and an arm that always reaches out and will hold a child when they need to be held, and will grab that child when they need to be held back. When children hit their heads on a rock or a table or the thinly carpeted floor, you will run to them and hold ice to the pulsing bruise. And in the backside of your left cheek, a bulge of your own will burgeon. You are power, though you do not always know it. You are sparks and mirror neurons and a life force throbbing to reach the future. But sometimes you forget this. Sometimes you lie in bed, or wish you were lying in bed, or wander through the rooms of a dark house, a dark cave. Sometimes you push your fingers deep into rocky clay soil, so deep you cut your finger on stone, and still the barb at the back of your chest is a barb, and still your mind is full of voices that conflict. Something pulls you elsewhere, and something holds you here, and you do not know which is the better choice, and so you stay. Mothers have lost themselves in this space. Hands on children, hands in the sink, hands in water turning red and then clear and then frothy. Mothers have brushed their children's hair and seen their own selves spiraling upward like the strands of a spider web, filaments floating and breaking in a breeze. A snail crawls across red bricks on the sidewalk, grit on grit. A blue egg cracks in the gutter. Where are you now? Once you were young, and like all of us, naive. And this is how it always is. So don't beat yourself up. Once you thought motherhood wouldn't be bristle, the sharp knob on the back of your neck, the sharp throb of a nerve 2 inches right of your left armpit. Once you thought motherhood meant familyhood, or something like that, forgetting it was you who was the mother. You alone, mouth open and then clenched on a dark and throbbing night. Do not believe this is anyone else's story. Do not believe this is anyone else's choice. When you stare into the lake or the river, or wipe the mist from the smoky mirror, you will only see yourself. Oh, mother, you don't believe me. I see you caving in, like a carcass, so full of fear you've already made yourself dead. I see you eyeing the white cloth, the small sock, the twisted clasp of the bra. You don't believe me that the anger in you is part of being a mother. You don't believe you will remain a mother just the same. You don't believe that the eye flash, hiccup, aching longing to be elsewhere is one and the same with the hug so tight you feel your child's bones. Oh, mother, the time will come when the belly will glisten and the sky will open and the mud will seep to your ankles. The time will come when the den is empty and the nearly grown daughter will stand at your side. The time will come when the leaves crackle a message and you will let go of the things you need to let go of, and your body will lighten so much you will fly. But until then, lean close and listen. Hear the fervent scratch in my voice, in the deep folds of your pelvis, in the center of that hardened fist. You have always known the answer. You have always made the choices you needed to make. You are not stupid. And when the next choice comes, you will gather yourself. Milk, bones, and bristle. And you will go. We Are Animals by Jennifer Case. My sister texted me the other day. We don't talk a whole lot. She asked how I was, and I said, I'm fine. That's standard in our family. I said that I'm focused on regulating my nervous system, trying to stay as regulated as possible right now. And she said the same. Over the past 2 years, I have gotten certified in a variety of modalities, thinking that I might be a yoga instructor or a personal trainer. I might be an embodiment coach. I might do any of these things. I read that passage in what was meant to be an embodiment practicum the feedback that I received from the facilitator wasn't bad. Of course, they did mention that they were hoping to see me do an embodiment practice. She made a comment about how we already know that you're a good speaker, Emily. I think that was in April. Correct me if I'm wrong. In July, I flew to Spain, where I was meant to lead an in-person embodiment practice in the same training. And I did my own version. I'm wrapping up my assessments right now, and in doing so, I am creating something new. Something that I've had an idea for a while, but for a variety of reasons, it hasn't come to fruition. Hi, Ziva. One of the puppies might join me. Do you want to come say hi? Yeah? You can kind of see her popping in. Want to look up? Yeah? That's Ziva. Anyway. There's a part of me, right? It's like, ooh, Emily, if you share this live with all of these silences, who's going to want to watch it? There's so many pauses of you just breathing. Part of me wonders, though, what if this is exactly what the people need? What if this is the embodiment practice that I'm here to lead people through? Can you be in the moment? Can you sit in discomfort? Can you just breathe? Even with the distractions, right? I can hear the dogs walking around. I'm sure you can hear the piddle paddle of feet, right? There was a cat hissing earlier. I can hear somebody eating. I think Zeva just jumped onto the couch. There's a lot of background noise, right? Can you just be here? This live is not anything like what I was thinking it might be, but also I didn't really plan it. Part of me thought that it would be fun to share that prologue from my sister's book because, as I will be sharing, sister wounds, right? I've also hinted that I have wounding with writing. Part of it's because I compare myself to my sister, right? Hey, baby boy. You're so cute. Good boy. When I was in Spain, I'm going to have a full live specifically on Spain. I'm going to write about it. You're going to hear a lot more stories on that. Particularly because where I went was, it was near my Pluto line and my North Node with astrocartography. So that's just like fascinating. And when I was there, I brought my journal. You'll hear me reference my little black books a lot. I have some of them here too. 1, 2, 3, 4 right now. This one's a little bit different. There are a lot of things in here that, well, I'll share eventually. But I want to share this because it's connected in some way, right? July 23rd, 2025. This will be my last entry in this journal. The group is in session right now, and I am naked by the pool, alone. Part of me feels like I should feel badly that I'm not with them. But I actually feel a sense of peace being here by myself. Perhaps because I'm realizing that while I value this work and I deeply respect it, I am coming to terms with and accepting the fact that I am not necessarily meant to be there playing that role. Am I self-sabotaging? Maybe. But I don't actually think so. Part of me looks at this as a failure, yet I know it isn't. I have been trying to do so many things, be so many things. I have been mirroring others, people I have admired or respected, some of whom I no longer do for both personal and professional reasons. And in the process, I have been rediscovering myself. This hasn't been an easy process, though I wish it had. I've invested in coaches and mentors that have not been in alignment, and while I could play the victim, that is a story that I am choosing to release. That doesn't mean I won't be sharing them, because trust me, I will. Lessons have been learned, and they will continue to be, both for myself and for others. Whether or not others choose to learn and grow, whether they choose to listen or to bypass the situation is ultimately up to them. But I see you, all of you, and I will be shining a light on you. Ready or not, here I come. The real question is, where will I begin and with whom? I cannot and will not promise a safe space, because what is safe is subjective. But rest assured, everything that I do is done with love. Kai. Just kidding. It's me, Emily S. Case. I've been trying for the past 2.5 years to do all of the things, to be all of the things that I needed to do and to be in order to become who I know that I am becoming. And in the process, I have often found myself getting pulled in different directions. I can see myself doing a lot of different things. And yet I have encountered roadblock after roadblock after roadblock, tower moment after tower moment after tower moment. And it's funny because I know why. Whether or not I use the information that I have gained over the past 2.5 years from these courses and these programs that I have moved through, whether I use that in the way that people expect. I mean, I could say that's still up in the air, but honestly, I don't think that it is. I think that all of the healing modalities that I've learned about over the past couple years, it was because I needed them. I may not be the one leading people through those transitions in that way, but I needed to move through it myself because it's helped me become authentically liberated. We are living in a moment in time, of time in time, either or, both and, all that jazz, where our nervous systems are being triggered intentionally. You need to be able to regulate your own nervous system. No one else can do that for you. Mothers, sisters, come together right now over me. Those are the lyrics that come to mind. I'm not going to sing it. I haven't warmed up yet. Minnesota, Renee Good. I do not have the words yet. Part of me thinks that I should, but part of me also knows that I am not, I'm not the person that people are turning to for that. This is not me staying silent. This is not me censoring myself. This is me being very fucking intentional. Silence is power. When I was in training, I told the group once that sometimes when I don't yet have the words to express myself and my rage, I won't speak. I will listen to the people. I will share their voices. I'm pissed. And I know that you are too. I don't have the words yet to truly express how much rage I have in my system. But you know how earlier in this live I said that I had an idea for an embodiment practicum that includes drums? Yeah, that's gonna happen. Some of you watching will be like, ooh, this bitch is crazy. We don't even know what she's talking about. Crazy childless cat lady, right? Hmm. Anyway, I don't think that I was ever meant to be the one to be leading that, per se. I have something else in mind. Stay tuned. With love, Kai. P.S. The revolution will be televised. Fuck the system.